Hello and welcome to our first project in the Spooky Halloween Basics Needle Felting Guide, and it is an eyeball today. We're going to have a go at making an eyeball. If you've seen the original video, you'll see the list of tools you need, but actually you can use any colour eyeball that you want to make. The red's a nice touch, a little bit of black for the middle, and I've actually put brown on here, but you could put black. This is coral. So you could do it out of a white if you want. This is chalk, so you can see there's quite a difference, but I don't think it matters. And just to know, if you're starting out, to save you money, just use your coral. So let's get started. I am using my mat. I like to cover it with a tea towel because I find that this bit irritates me. So you need to take a piece of coral, which I haven't got ready, so let's grab it. Here it is. Now, I'm going for kind of a realistic size. To be honest, this is probably a little bit too big. Let's just zoom out a minute. Maybe not quite that much. Yeah, this bit's probably, that's probably a slightly bigger than an actual eyeball would be, but it's kind of up to you. So take a chunk, we can always add more. And we're just going to start rolling. You want to roll this as tight as you can, okay? So kind of aiming for a bit of a sausage dog. And then I'd stop, you know, just before halfway and sort of squidge it in a bit. And roll again. And just get that as tight as you can. Give it a bit of a squeeze. And we'll start popping the needle in. Now, if you're a beginner, you probably do want to put your finger guards on. They just give you the confidence. Sometimes having finger guards just means that I can work a lot quicker. So what you do when you're making a circle is you're continuously moving the needle. You can go in reasonably deep. Just be careful you don't hit the bit that's not protected. But you need to keep moving because that's how you get the round shape. If you focus on one spot, you'll get a flat or a very dipped surface. When you've gone around a bit, move it. Go round again. Move it. Practicing circles is brilliant because circles are heads, they are bodies, they are just all sorts of things really. So that's why I wanted to start with something really simple. Now I find the whole pushing the needle into the wall and the sound it makes really, really therapeutic. Hopefully you will do too. This is not quick. Unfortunately, needle felting does take time. So you have to be a bit patient. Keep moving. You can do this, like I said, you could do this with white. If you have white wool and you want your eyeball to be nice and white. Now, if it starts to feel like, you can see here I've sort of got a bit squished. You can give it a bit of a squish. But just start focusing on a different area. We can add more wool. I've made this a tad small, so we might add some more wool in a minute, which is absolutely fine. These are all good skills to learn. But we're moving it round. You can squish this an awful lot with your finger, so don't be worried to squish it with your fingers. Just keep moving it, keep putting your needle into different spots. That's the key, to keep moving it. I've picked up some brown now, get rid of that. Stop, have a look at it. Yeah, it's getting there. You can give it a bit of a roll if you want as well, just to try and help it a bit. Yeah, I actually don't think I'm going to add any more to this, but you can do. Just keep poking around. You should be able to see that where you're putting the needle is making a difference. You should be able to see the shape starting to, like here I can see it sticking out a bit, so I know I need to work on this area. Now we aren't going for perfection today, we're going for good enough. There are times when you will want it perfectly round, but this is beginner, and this is getting a feel for the wool. Make a jar full of eyeballs if you want. You know, by the time you've done like 3 or 4, you're going to be really good at doing doing balls. And they're actually quite cheap to make as well if you're using core wool. Okay, let's just give it a quick. I'm reasonably happy with that. Like I said, I'm not going for perfection, and we're also going to be adding pieces. So if there are any, like you can see the back of this doesn't look great at all, but you could put the wool into those pieces, like the veins of the eye. So I'm happy with that. Give it one more quick squidge. Now on this one, I used the dark green, which I think is called Forest. I don't really like it, and I have a wool that I've used before and it works really well, and it's called Lemon and Lime. I think I put this as an optional. What I like about it is it's like a mixture. It's got quite a lot of yellow in it actually, but also a bit of like bluey green. It's just, I really like this. I think it just works really well for an eyeball. So I'm going to take, never need as much as you think. I'm going to take a bit, give it a squidge. You can use some, if you've got a little glass of water, sometimes that's quite good when you're needle felting, because it helps hold it together a bit. But I'm just squidging this one, and I'm just going to lay it on, and then again finger guards if you want for safety, and we're just going to make the round bit in the middle. So maybe hold it down, start in the middle and just push down. Don't have to go in too deep, but like you were doing before, you're just going round. Just pulling the ball in, and this is great as well because these are just basic skills really that you need to master. Just keep moving it round. You can see how you can pull the ball in to where you want it, or you can just go around the edge to work out where you want your circle to be, and then fill in the middle. A bit like colouring really, or painting, isn't it? But with a sharp needle. See, I quite like how that looks, but you might prefer to do the green one, or a blue eye. I suppose you could do a red eye if you really wanted to. I think it's going to look like an eye either way. Okay, so if you're not happy with that, if you think an area just looks a bit wrong, you can always add a bit more. Just lay it on, and don't be afraid to cut the bits. If you think that's perfect, I don't want this bit here, you can just cut that bit off with some scissors. You don't have to spend ages attaching it all. What I might just do is try and get a bit of blue in that area there. I do wonder which blue they use. It's a lovely blue. When they mix their colours at Waterfall, I wonder what colour, what blue that is. I might try and find out because it's a really nice blue. Okay, I'm happy with that. What we're going to do, which is going to give it the definition, is to put the circle around the edge. Now I made that one in brown, but we'll do this one in black. So take your black and pull a little bit off. We can add more, so don't panic. So you can see how small that piece is there, really small. And just layer it on the edge, or near the edge, and then use your needle to just tuck it in. Again, you please wear finger guards if you need to. You'll only stab yourself a few times before you'll think, yeah, I should have put my finger guards on. So just poke that in. And again, I'm just going to use a bit more. Get that in, just going around the edge. If you push it in too deep, it will get lost and you won't find it. So there is a balance, but you know, if you push it in too deep and you can't find it, you can always just add more. You can pull it out if you want, but yeah, don't be afraid of just putting more on top if you feel it's lost. It's really, all's really manipulative. You can really have a good go at fixing it. Give it a bit of a squidge. Don't be afraid to use your fingers. Now let's do the middle bit, and then I think it will start to look a bit more like an eye. So you don't want very much for this middle piece. Just give it a squidge together. If you have some water, you can use that too. And drop it into the middle and just push it down. Just felting it in like this, and it will attach. You can make it bigger if you want, you can make it smaller. And do you see what I mean about, like, I like these pieces, you know, some people have that, the blue eyes, and it has like, you know, it's not a solid colour, is it? So that's why I quite like using that colour. I also think it's just a really, really lovely colour. Okay. I just feel like my eye is a bit lopsided, so I'm just going to add a little bit of extra on here. I'm going to put my finger guards on to do that. I think a jar of these would be absolutely brilliant. You could even use like a coffee jar or something, or a jam jar. It doesn't have to be anything amazing, or even like a vase, if you've got a vase for your Halloween decorations in a window, making sure a few of the actual eyeball pieces are pointing out. So by doing this, you're having a real go with, you know, some fine detail and getting the circle, because, you know, this could be a head, it could be a piece of fruit, all sorts of things. So just knowing how to do a circle is really, really helpful. Okay, so now let's add the red. Where have I put my red? Sorry about this. Slightly disorganised. Here we go. Now, I'm using quite a bright red for this one, but you could use a darker red, whatever you have. Now, pull this apart. You actually want really thin pieces, and you actually want them to attach quite thinly. How close you go to the actual eyeball is up to you. You can see I'm just gently pushing them in. If you push them in too tight, they may get lost, but actually it's quite bright. I quite like that crazy, slightly fluffy look. You can't, it's wool is fluffy, so you can't make it something it's not. You know, people do get things very, very smooth, but we're not aiming for that. Not, you know, this is not reliable. Actually, don't want to frighten anyone that much, but it is something fun and something soft. I'm just going to tidy up the back a bit, get this shape a bit more. But as you add the red, you'll sort of be doing that anyway. So, and you can see there's a size difference in here. I don't think that matters. Take a bit more red. Just attaching it with however it falls. You can, if you want to, you can do it like with veins coming off from each other. You just lay it close. It will kind of like stick a bit together. So now it looks like it's a vein coming off, and that's quite a good good look. Yeah, I like that. You can have some more as well if you want. Join them all together. A nice veiny eye. Just be a bit careful that you don't end up making your shape really sort of flat. And I would go all the way around the eye. Now you've started. You don't have to do the red veins, but I think they just give it that a little bit of like eeriness. And I'm trying so that it doesn't go in a complete straight line. Tiniest bits of wool. Okay, and like I said, make as many as you want. Squidge it. You can make it firmer if you want. You can spend more time locking these bits in, but basically that is it. Well done. You have made your first circle, or maybe you've made lots of circles before, but that is a really good place to start. I have a jar full of eyeballs. Do come back for the next video, which will be a pumpkin. So take care. Bye.